This conference will now be recorded.
So yesterday what we have discussed? Yesterday we discussed about the functions. So in that functions, arguments we discussed. How many arguments we have? Four types of arguments we have. So one is positional arguments, keyword arguments, default arguments, and variable length arguments. Okay. So what is the positional arguments? So if you are pass any variables, that position should be same why when you are calling the that function. Okay, so if we here you have given ab, so those values should be given in the position wise. Okay, if you change these position arguments of these positions, if we expect the you assume that this is the a value, this is the b value, but here you have given the b a. So but B has the 10 and A has the 20 value. So based on the position of this AB, okay, you can pass the value of while calling the function. Okay. Keyword arguments means, so while calling the function, you should give the key, key and value. Like here you have given the five arguments. Okay. Then you should give those five argument name and value. Like that you can give the keywords. Okay, so this you can give the any order, that is not a problem, because here you are telling that a value is 20, b value is 30. Okay, if you give any order, that is not a problem here. Okay, you should not give same order in the keyword arguments. Okay, so variable length argument we discussed about the default arguments. Default arguments means, see, if you are, suppose here I am giving b value, default is 10. Okay, so here a value is default is 0. Okay, so when you are calling the this add function, here this is not, so if you are here you are you have not given the second value, right? Here you it is expecting the two arguments, but you have given the only one argument. So by default, here we have given the b equal to 0, 10, a equal to 0. So if you haven't given any so value for the second variable, it will take from the default value. So if you have given, it will override with this value. Okay, so understand, right? So variable length arguments means here single star, double star we use. So single star means, so these are positional arguments. So you can use any as many arguments you can pass by positional arguments only. You can pass by using the star. So here you can mention args or you can mention any variable here. Okay. So these double star means keyword arguments. So if you have multiple keyword arguments, then by using double star you can pass the keyword arguments. So how can we code that positional arguments and keyword arguments? Okay, by using star. So if you want to declare keyword arguments, you can use the double star. Okay, so how can you access those values? So it is the list. Okay, star n means this is a positional arguments, right? Here you are passing the multiple arguments. Okay, so if you want to it will accept as a list, sorry, tuple only. Okay, here we are passing tuple. So while if you here you are passing tuple, right? How can you access values from the tuple? By using for loop. Okay, you can sum and subtract, and you can do any you can have the even and odd numbers from that tuple. Like that you can do any operations you have. So we discussed about the function module library also, right? What is the function? Group of lines or repeated logic, we call it as a function. Okay, So module means group of functions saved in a file. Okay. So that is we call it as module. Library means group of modules. So within the library we have the multiple modules. Okay. Within the module you have the multiple functions. Within the function you have the repeated logic or group of lines. Okay. So again we discussed about the local and global variables. Okay, what is the local variable? So if you declare local, so if you see, this is the local variable. Within the function you declare the variable, so that is called as local variable. So you cannot access this b value outside of this f3 function. Okay, so global means, so outside of the function if you declare any value, you can call it as a global variable. You can access that a value within the f1, within the f2, within the f3, any function you can access this a value. Okay, that is called as global variable. So suppose I want to access this b value outside function also. How can you declare in this f3 function? By using the global keyword. So if you declare global equal global space c, then it this c value change it to globally. Okay, you can access this if you, even if you declare within the fi function, you can access it outside of the fi function also. So that is we call it as global variable. So if you want to declare within the function and if you want to access outside of the function also, then you should use the global keyword when you are declaring the variable inside the function. Okay, so we have the another function, that is recursive function. Okay, it is very important function. So recursive means a function, okay, that calls itself is called recursive function. Okay, understand, right? So if you have declared one function, within that function you are calling same function, then you call it as a recursive function. Okay, suppose you take the factorial. If you want to find out the factorial of 3, so how can you find out? 3 into 3 factorial, sorry, 3 into factorial of 3 means 3 into 2 factorial, right? So in that case you can declare factorial of 2. Okay, so if you declare 3 into 2 into factorial of 1. Okay, so here 3 into factorial of 1 means 2 into 1. Okay, so into factorial of 0. So what is the factorial of 0? 1, right? So that is 3 into 2 into 1 into 1. Okay. So what is the output here? 6, right? Factorial of 3 is 6. So what is the formula here for factorial? Factorial of n equal to n into factorial of n minus 1. Okay. So this is the, so here we declare, I will explain by declaring the function also. So what is the main advantage here? So but if you want to use the recursive function and if you don't use the recursive function, what is the difference here? If you use the recursive function, you can reduce the length of the code. If you use normal function, it will take the more length. Okay, So inside that function, you have to write the more logic of to find the factorial of 3. Okay. So if you use the recursive function, it will minimize the length of the function. Okay. So and improve the readability also. If you have few lines, so then that function has the more readability, right? By seeing you can understand easily. Okay. So and by using recursive function, you can easily solve the complex logic, complex problems or complex logics. Okay. So now how can you declare? So like factorial. So here I should accept n. Okay, any value I should accept. Okay, if that value equal to 0. Okay, then so here what I should, if n equal to 0. So factorial of 0 means what value you should get? 1 only, right? So in this case, if n value is 0, then I am taking one result variable. I am directly assigning one value to result. Okay, else, understand, right? If n not equal to 0, then I am assigning result equal to, what is the formula here? So n into factorial of n minus 1. Okay, understand, right? So after the completion of this one, you should return the results. Okay, so here when you call this function, here I will give factorial of 5. Okay, so when you call this function, you are passing 5 value. So here you will get the 5. So 5 equal to 0. So means this condition is not satisfied. It came to else part. So in this else, here n value is 5. 5 into factorial of n minus 1, right? Here again it is calling factorial function. This function again calling, here n minus 1 means 4. Again 4 means again it came to here, it passed to 4 value. Here 4 equal to 0. No, right? So again it came to here. Already you have the 5, right? Now 4. 5 into 4 into factorial of n minus 1 means 4 minus 1, 3. Like that it will, here we evaluate, right? Like this it will call as many times you have the value, input value. Okay. So we will see the practical way. So this is the function I declare. See here you haven't print this. You should print. So you are returning, but it's stored in this. You are not assigning to any variable. If you are not assigning to any variable, you should print, or you take one variable and you assign the value, whatever it return the value from the this function. Okay, then print that variable. Okay, see. So factorial of 5 means 120. So I will see factorial of 3. So what you will get? 6. See, we evaluate here, right? Factorial of 3 means 6, right? So like you can evaluate what value you have given here and you can check here. Okay, understand, right? So one more concept we have, function aliasing. What is function aliasing? So if you want to pass existing function to another function. Okay, so how can you pass? So I have the suppose, okay, welcome function I have. Okay, okay. So if you call welcome like this, I have given. Okay, so here we are passing n value and calling the welcome function. Okay, so here you can give the any variable, right? You can assign this whatever. Here we are just printing, so it will, when you call this welcome function, it will directly print the value because we are using the print function inside the welcome function, right? So if you want to assign this welcome function to, I want to assign another function. Okay, so here another I have taken, so I assign this another to welcome. Okay, so if I call another of some test, okay, so we will see. See here, first what I have called welcome function by passing this argument. Okay, so this value I passed when I am calling the welcome function. So again I assign welcome function to another variable. So this whatever the function you have in the welcome, it entirely copied to another, but both have the same reference. Okay, same reference value. If you change the welcome function, another function also will change. Okay, because both have the same reference. Okay, so again I call the another and by passing the test value. So that is why welcome to Python class test or welcome to Python class Sunil. Like that you will get the output. Okay, understand, right?
There is another is a keyword.
So another is a variable. So we are assigning this function to this variable. Okay,
We can take any
so it
variable.
will, yeah, you can take any variable. You
Yeah,
can
okay, sir.
take test also. Okay, here you should take test. Okay, like that you can take any value. So I have taken like this. What is the difference between these two statements, test and test one? What is the difference between these two statements, tell me?
In test one, welcome is a function.
Okay, here also welcome is function only, right?
Yeah, okay.
So here welcome function we are assigning to test. So here welcome function we are calling it. Okay, we are not assigning. So if you use parenthesis, open close parenthesis, we we are calling that function. Okay, so after call this function, it will store the output of this function to test variable. Okay, understand, right? Here we are copying function to test variable, so it will become a function. Okay, so here we are storing the output of this function. We are calling this welcome function and storing the output to test one variable. Okay, this is the variable, this is the C function. Okay, def test C, understand, right? So if you hover the cursor here, it is showing only variable. So here variable plus here you can see the definition of the function. Okay, understand, right?
Yes, sir.
So another concept, we have the nested functions. What is the nested functions? We have it in the name itself. Okay,
A
so if
function
you
within
declare
another.
the yes, correct. So if you declare function inside another function, okay, if you declare a function within inside another function, we call it as a nested function. Okay, so def outer I have. Okay, so inside this I am printing. Okay, okay, so we have the inside outer function. Okay, so after that you have to declare the inner function, right? So here you can print. Okay, so you have declared the outer function and inner function. Where you call this inner function? So after the inner function declaration, you should call the inner function. So how can you call? Just inner parenthesis. Okay, here. Okay. So after completion of inner function calling, and how can you call the outer function? How can you invoke outer function? So you can call just outer like this. Okay, let's see how it can be. See, first it came to inside outer function. Okay, after that inner function was not executed. Okay, we just declared the inner function, but you haven't invoked it. Okay, so after that we print the calling inner function. Okay, so here we are calling the inner function. Okay, so after calling inner function, print statement, it call the inner function and print the whatever you have printed in the inner function. Okay, inside inner function it printed. Okay, understand, right? So here this inner function is local to this outer function. Okay, so like local variable, if you declare the local variable inside this outer function, you should not access outside of this outer function, right? So likewise, if you declare the function inside this outer function, so you should not access outside, you cannot access outside the outer function. So within the outer function, you can access the inner function. Okay, understand, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So here just we are calling the function, right? Here we are, you call the inner function, but you can return the inner function also. Okay, see here instead of call you can return. Okay, inner. So here outer you can give F1. Okay, so See, if you want to do this one, okay, only. So here you are calling outer function, right? So first outer function cursor control will come to inside outer function. It print this function. So inside outer function string. After that, it came to calling inner function because this one we haven't invoked it, but you just declare the inner function. So after that, what you are doing here, just returning the inner function. Okay. So here outer you are calling outer function. That is why it printed only inside outer function and calling inner function. Okay, but you haven't called here, right? You just return the inner function. Okay, so if you return the inner function, you should assign that inner function to any variable. So here when you call the outer function, so it return the inner, right? It assign the output of inner function, output of outer function is inner, right? So it assigned to f1. Okay, if you want to execute inner function, you should call the f1. Okay, see, now inside inner function also called, inner function also called now. Okay, understand, right? So that's it for functions. So we have another function also, anonymized function. We will discuss it in the advanced Python. Okay. In the advanced concepts, we
One,
will discuss it more. Yeah.
yeah, once again, can you tell this returning value, how it returns?
See, here you have written the def outer function. Inside that outer function, you have declared the inner function. Okay, so here previous what you have done, you just call the inner function inside outer function. Okay, so that is why when you call the outer function, directly print call the inner function in the outer function and it print the value of the inner function. Okay, so now
Yeah.
when it comes to here, you are returning the inner function. Okay, this outer function output is inner function. Okay, so in this inner function, what you are doing? So if you want to invoke the function, you should call, right? So, but
Yeah.
you are returning the inner function here. So here, when you want to invoke the outer function, just you are calling like this, right? So
Yes.
likewise, if you call like this, so what is the output of outer function? Inner, right? So
Yes.
this inner function value assigned to this one, like what it will happen here, f1 equal to inner, means here we are assigning this inner function to f1, means function aliasing. So f1 nothing but inner. Okay, because outer function output is inner, right? So it is assigning this inner function to f1 variable. Okay, understand, right?
Yes.
Are you clear or still have doubt?
Yeah. Clear. It's
So
clear.
if you are calling here f1, so f1 means inside inner, like this you are calling. Okay, f1 nothing but inner. Okay,